Mic on.
Alright, so I'm reloading it now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, bro. It's being weird, dude. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look this up real quick because something ain't right, bro. This has gotten worse and worse. Hold on. Okay, so Call of Duty CPU spikes. Let's see what's going on. Oh, this is all shithead again.
This nigga's hiding pretty good.
Right. Um. Let me see something here.
Man, what the fuck is this dude hiding at? The dude got a slick ass hiding spot.
Okay, maybe it'll run better now. Alright, how long's your match?
I don't know, we gotta try to find this motherfucker. This motherfucker ain't nowhere to be seen.
My bad, bro.
Real good.
My Call of Duty's being weird, bro.
Oh, they found him, okay.
Right.
Where the fuck was this nigga?
Ay, ay, ay.
Alright, we're going in.
Alright.
Still part of the party? Want me to exit out? There you go. Alright. Well, is ready to join.
What game modes do you have equipped for your matchmaking?
Team deathmatch, search and destroy, headquarters, confirm, infected. I had domination, but I took it out.
Yeah, no, domination, keep out. I don't mind infected, just sometimes. It just feels like we're getting a lot of that though.
Yeah.
I think what else? If you want, we can take that off.
Okay.
I don't want to mess up your playlist though. Like I'm gonna say, if you want to keep your playlist the way it is, I could host. Up to you, bro. Whatever you want to do.
No, I don't. It don't matter.
Okay.
Let me know.
Yeah, do me a favor. Put cyber attack, search, team deathmatch. I'm cool with kill confirmed. And not headquarters. I don't want to do headquarters.
Oh, okay. So that is cyber attack, search and destroy, kill confirm, and team deathmatch.
Yeah, that should be good.
Alrighty then.
All right, let's go. Or let me hold on. All right, hold on. Let me get Jim in here. Hold on, give me a second. Why'd they put him way at the bottom, man? It's like consoles first before PC. Like that's racist, bro. I gotta go to like the back of the bus to invite him. Like, there he is. All right.
Are you ready?
Yep, we're ready. Let's go. I hope the game runs better now. I really hope it does. We'll see what happens, I guess. I think they messed up the playlist thing. I picked different game modes and it won't most of the time. Yeah, so he's saying the same thing. So he said it might not even be you. So yeah, so sometimes when you pick game modes, it doesn't rotate the way it should. It just picks one and keeps at it. So I guess you just got to kind of back out and go back in.
Sounds like a plan.
That does make sense though, because you notice that when we did kill confirmed, we kept playing nothing but kill confirmed. So it's like it keeps the same mode. It just
You don't call it into existence.
yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to get Thomas to join us, bro. You know what?
You want to run that one, or you want me to go back? You want to run this kill confirm?
Yeah, it's cool. No matter. Down for anything, bro.
Let's get it done.
Yeah, Mr. Thomas here. We've been trying to game on this for a long time now, and we can never add each other. So I'm gonna have Jay. Or had him add Jay. See if that works. Maybe. I don't know.
Kill confirmed. Hunt down the enemy and destroy
Wow. Okay.
them. Pull ahead.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
That's a lot of sliding. Collect that. It'll be a good spot. Damn, man.
I got it for you. Don't worry. Oh.
Yeah, wow, there's a gold and black car. Gold and black Jeep in here.
I'm almost dead.
The good thing is if you
Oh, jeez, the whole team is here.
Enemy at the showers.
enemies at the showers.
Have that on. You just be advised of it.
Oh, why you staring at me like that?
Ooh, Kaz making explosions over there, bro.
Had to, man. Had to.
Yeah, we tried to add you several times too, Thomas. So looks like you're gonna have to add one of us, bro.
Enemies here. Enemies divided.
Just to kind of see what's going on with that, you know? Hopefully the game's running good for you guys.
Oh, that's what I get for a silver. That's how I'm gonna just shoot.
I need to move around.
Oh shit, wrong gun. Oh shit, wrong gun.
Enemy at the showers.
Wow. Okay. Okay. What is going on?
Nobody wants to.
Unbelievable, man.
Using a flash!
Right?
I'm gonna keep moving around, man. I'm tired of like sitting still.
How did I get a gun with beer can?
My God,
Yeah, I
man.
got a gun and it's got beer cans on it.
Wow, don't even need aim anymore. Okay, well, it's fine. The less you aim, the better it is, I guess, right? The way games are nowadays. All right, let's go. That or they got some really increased hipfire accuracy attachments, which very unlikely. I'm gonna doubt it right there.
Friendly UAV online. The enemy is the train track.
Let me put this here. Okay, we're looking good.
They're shooting at me.
Ooh. Oh, you got him. I hear him, but where? Where is he? Where is he?
Friendly UAV online.
Trying to get in my footsteps.
Overhead.
I don't like this scope. It like takes up too much of the screen. What the?
Alright, I'm messing around.
Enemy cargo containers.
How the hell they shoot me through there? I don't get it. I really don't get what's going on here, guys. All right. Get moving in.
Enemy in the boiler room. We're halfway there. Keep fighting.
I'm doing bad on this one.
Let's get moving around, guys.
Enemy at the freight elevator.
What the son of a mother? I'm gonna come at me with a fully automatic. Oh, look at this guy, man. Just
Enemy into my truck. Friendly UAV online. Enemy into
oh, got him with a handgun. No, that's how you do it, bro. 2 shots, 1 opportunity. Let's get it.
enemy precision
I can't
airstrike
get this
inbound. Kill confirmed. Kill confirmed.
What? But Desert Eagle hits who I need, bro. Got 2 hit markers. That was supposed to be just 2 shots. Nah, I was kind of far away though.
I'm hit!
Oh! There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. Where the heck are these guys? They're hiding. They're scared. Which building do you wish to hide in today? Ooh, okay.
Kill confirmed.
What'd you get, boy?
Enemy at the woods. Reload.
Where the heck are these guys? Yeah, they're hiding out in the back, guys. Let's get them. Or maybe not this way. All right. Oh gosh, Thomas is laughing his butt off. He's like, "Whoa, what? Say what?"
The day's almost done. Using a flash!
Okay. That happens. Right. Yeah, Thomas, add us up, bro. Or add Jay. Jay's going to be TGS, J13Gem, or I don't know how he's going to add you on your... Or Jay, just type in your your account details in the chat.
Hey, I'm doing bad.
Enemy at the freight elevator.
Wow! Seriously, dude?
Enemy precision airstrike inbound.
Sorry, stand by.
That is a fight. So
Right.
Yo, that's like the worst I've ever did.
Alright, seems like it's working a little better, which is good. Bum. Yeah, so Jay, or Thomas, try to add J13, see if this will work, bro. So at least if Jay can add you, because I don't see you on my friend request, bro. Sometimes you gotta delete the friend request and resend it again. That's the only way it works sometimes. I see you guys in a party. Did it I think it glitched on me.
Hey, Tricks,
Mic on.
Yeah, what happened, bro?
what happened to your friend?
I'm not sure. I didn't know if it was you or him still in here. Give me a second. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm taking that kill confirm on, but I'm tired of that kill confirm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. I don't know. Let me see what's going on. I want to try to see if I can get my other moderator in here with us, but I could never add him. It doesn't let me add him. Hey, do me a favor, bro. I'm gonna send this to you on Xbox, so maybe you can see if you can add him real quick. I'm gonna send you a message. That's his username right there.
Alright, I got you.
See what I like about being on PC, bro? Move, quick. I was on Xbox right now. I had to type every letter on that. Oh god. All right. Let me take a look here. Add friends. Okay. This. My request sending failed because I'm already sent him one. So let me find him real quick. Nightmare 265. Revoke. Okay. Alright, let me go to friends again. Add friend. Okay. To account for PlayStation Network Online ID. Okay. Friend request sent. Okay. So hopefully it went through this time. Let me know if it went through, Thomas. And then you go ahead and try to add him too. It's just nightmare underscore 265. But make sure you put for PlayStation ID. That way we can get Thomas in here with us. Oh, he's not even on right now, so... Okay, hold on. Shoot.
Mic off.
Alright, no problem, Thomas. Hopefully it goes through, man. Hopefully it works, you know what I'm saying? I hope so, bro. But if we can get Jay or somebody else to add you real quick...
Hey,
that'd be
does he
good.
got like a bear as a emoji looking thing?
Mic on.
I have no idea, probably. Yeah, nightmare underscore 265. You added Thomas? Okay, so Thomas, you got all three of us adding you. So if one of us don't get accepted or go through, something's wrong with your account, bro. That or it's a PlayStation issue. But I've played with other people on PlayStation, no problem. Oh, okay. Right.
Mic off.
That's what I'm saying. Kick him off, Thomas. Tell him like, yo, Trix only got an hour left. I got an hour to play some of this, guys. And then we're gonna take a break. I'm really thinking Gears tonight. I don't know, man. I want to beat that game. I had fun playing it though. But J13's so lucky. He's get the full screen, the 4K ultimate experience, and I'm just sitting here on a tiny cell phone. What is it, like a 9-inch screen? Yo, I saw World War Z was only $15 on Xbox. Like, wow, bro. Why is this so cheap? The game that bad? Well, I guess it didn't really feel like a full game, maybe, so that could be why. Maybe the game was priced at like $20, $30, and then they brought it down to 15. That's the only thing. Oh, it's on sale. Okay.
Other consoles, right?
Mic on.
Yeah, so when you hit add friend, you're going to want to click add friends, and then you're going to click where it says search friend using. You're going to want to click on...
No, if he doesn't have an Xbox, you can't do it that way. If he's on PlayStation, you have to go to press Y on your home screen. It's gonna do friends. You gotta add friends on there, and then you gotta put other consoles. Cause you got Activision account, Xbox Live Gamer Tag, other consoles or PCs. That's the only way you can send a friend request to a PlayStation
Yeah.
on a computer.
Yeah.
I did it like that. I sent a nightmare underscore 265. So
Okay,
I
cool.
sent it already.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, because on PC it's a little different. We get to add people for Activision account, Battle.net or Xbox or PlayStation. But yeah, like you said though, it will say something different. The Activision account number is better because that's like an all in all your Call of Duty account. Everything else is your gamer tag.
Well, I'll send it to him.
Yeah, cause so like if you added me on Battle.net, then you would have to enter my Battle.net ID. If you add me on Xbox, you'll have to add me on my Xbox ID. Which for me it's the same, so it's easy for me. But some people, you know, like let's say right now your name is Chaos, but your name on Xbox could be different, or it could be different in Call of Duty. Sometimes people do that; it gets confusing.
I'm gonna send an invite to somebody on here.
Yeah. Oh shoot! I'm not in your game. What the hell?
Nope.
Oh, I was in Jay's party the whole time. Oh, bro, hold on. Give me a second. I'm over here thinking I'm in your party.
Huh?
Mic
The game
on.
was $30. Now it's half off. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Thank you for the follow, guys. Yeah, that's good. That's really good, guys. Really good indeed. Which is crazy. So I had to see what the heck is going on with all this like crazy lag from this game.
Confirm out.
Driving me insane, you know. So we'll see.
Mic on.
Yeah, we're ready, bro. Let's go.
I wouldn't mind search and destroy. I haven't played search and destroy in a minute.
Right. Boom, bada bum.
You're fired!
Yeah, Thomas is yeah, your name is different on Blizzard than it is on Xbox. Yeah, very true.
Team deathmatch.
He's on PC
Enemy
just like you.
threats in the AO.
Yeah.
West.
Oh yeah.
Allied cluster strike inbound.
He just did it to PC instead of
All right, we gotta do this, bro. We gotta do this. Let's go, 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 go. Move it, move it. Hut 1, hut 2, hut 3.
Taking fire.
I got that one, Cash. You saw that, bro? You saw how I took him down, man?
yeah, he ran by right
Ooh. I always shut doors because I got banners. Ooh.
Enemy precision airstrike.
No, they don't even know what's coming for them, bro. Woo! See that? See that, bro? See that? See that's how we do it, man. I'm already on the top of the lead almost. Come on, come on, come on.
going over there.
They're going over where?
Right where you guys are at.
Copy that, copy that. 99 over. What the son of a mother biscuits and gravy and mashed potatoes and pork chops? Threw a grenade at me, bro. He can't shoot me, so he has to blow me up. He likes to blow me. That's what I'm talking about, bro. You better blow me, because you ain't shooting me. Alright, let's go.
Those are.
Reloading.
Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Plan set.
Woo, they're up here, I think. Be careful, bro.
Reloading.
Oh, I hate when my character talks. Reloading! Enemy spotted! Oh, very nice, very nice. I like it very much. Woohoo! Yo, keep it up, bro. Keep it up. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Scare the crap out of me. Yeah!
Enemy
Claymore
cluster
set.
strike incoming.
Oh, cluster strike? Really? Really? You son of a mother!
Mic off.
Unbelievable.
There's one megaphone call me on the wrong time.
Wow, thirsty, bro. Grab that boy a Sprite. Sitting with that shotgun on his knees. Gotta be on your knees when you shoot at me, bro. Bow to me. Let's go.
Enemy halfway there. Pick it up.
You're listening to my footsteps? Is that what you're doing, boy? Listening to them toes? You ain't gonna hear my toes today.
Damn it. Oh, damn it.
Yo, I love when it's so quiet like this. Like I can move around so good. Like I can hear everything. You know what I'm saying? Like I wish it stayed like this so much.
Claymore set.
Ain't coming up them stairs, guys. We double claymored it up, but let's go. Watch yourselves here. Stop moving so much. We gotta stop running so much because all we're doing is giving our position away.
Friendly UAV overhead. Less than a
Wow.
minute. Let's run it out. Now or never.
Yeah, that's what I thought, boy.
Claymore set.
Yes, that's what you get. Being so thirsty to try to come get me. Wow! What? What? How?
Move your asses.
Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable, guys. I can't believe it. All right, let's get back in the groove. Let's go. Let's get back into rhythm and emotion. I got a shotgun now. All right, let's go. How the heck did I just equip the shotgun? Did I equip that? I got a hit marker there, which is good.
Claymore set.
Two
Stand
kills,
down,
draw,
it's a
baby.
dead-
No! Man! Fired! 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 So I took out some of the emojis, Jay, so let me know. Yep.
No L.
Yep. So let's keep this up and rolling in, guys.
Where your dude keeps going? He keeps leaving the game.
Mic on.
Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. It could be, what's your NAT? Mine's moderate, so maybe that might be a problem.
Mine's is good. My shit don't ever kick anybody out.
No, but like at the bottom left right now, what does it say? NAT type. What does it say? Moderate, strict, open, what?
Moderate.
Moderate, yeah, that's the problem. Mine too. All right, so what's happening with moderate? It means there's going to be some network issues. So not all the time, but that can involve party chat, that can involve matchmaking, that can involve messaging, Xbox Live services, blah, 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 blah. Moderate means you're in the middle, could or may not work. Strict means don't even bother, but open is what you want. If you don't have it open, that means you need to log into your router via your cell phone, computer, whatever device you have. Log into your router panel and then just configure, and you need to do some port forwarding, or you need to enable DMZ host mode, and that would eliminate the issues that you're currently having, and then you'll be fine and good to go. Anything else?
No, that pretty much covers it. I want to do some search and destroy. I want to at least do 2 matches.
Yeah, Jay's is open. Both of ours is moderate. Mine's because I need to reset my router. It's been a while since I've reset
So
it.
open is good.
Yeah, open is the best, bro. That means you won't have no issues. Because what's gonna happen is that's why Jay keeps getting kicked out. You know what? Let me do something real quick. I know we don't have much time. It's already. Hold on. Let me back out real quick. I'm gonna restart my game. Give me a second. Hold on.
I'll do a little quick search and destroy.
Need to figure out what the heck is going on though. Like this game is being
We
weird.
can always join his.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, I'm just restarting my game. That'll just help. I got about 40 minutes left. We'll go ahead and do some of this real quick for 40 minutes, and then yeah, let's get some search, man. Search is good. Cyber attack is even better because then we can revive each other. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what's
Yeah, that's
I was looking for that.
That's the one I like, cause yeah, that one's cool. Like you can revive, like that's better. Like search is once you die, that's it. Like I like it, but there's no second chances.
Right.
Yeah, bro, my CPU is spiking like crazy, bro.
So, the cyber attack. That's the
Get it. Totally don't get what's going on here. All right, so I'm back at the main menu, which is good. It shows that you're in a pregame lobby. I'm gonna join you. Then I'm gonna go ahead and invite. Oh, my NAT is strict now. What? Yeah, that just happened.
Ah.
Let me restart the game again. Dang it! Dang it! Oh, I just made it worse.
Yeah.
Wow, bro, that is crazy.
You probably should have kept it at moderate.
I just broke my game. If you have a strict NAT type, you're restricted to chatting and playing multiplayer games exclusively with people who have an open NAT type. You can't be chosen as the host of a match. Let me do something here real quick. I don't even know what the hell my local IP address is. Hold on, give me a second. I know mine's different from like... No, I just worked on my mom's computer not too long ago and it was... Hold on, give me a second. Let me go into my router real quick. Router settings.
Go ahead. I'm gonna do a little quick match.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. Here we go. Hmm. The hell? Try it again.
Mic off.
All right, so I'm reloading everything now, guys. See what's going on here. I don't know why. Whoa, strict is not good. We don't want strict, guys. Strict can be very, very bad. Strict is bad news, bad for business. All right, so we're loading in now, which is good. Oh God, why is my CPU so high? There you go. We're back to moderate. Oh well, moderate's the way it is.
Mic on.
All right, I'm back to moderate. I don't know, bro. I got my settings set up right, so I don't know. I think I just need to unplug the router and plug it back in, but I'm not doing that right now. I love how my CPU is spiking up to like 100%, but yet it's not showing me what the heck it is. Like, there's nothing displaying what it is. Like, stupid. Alright, so you're already in a match, you said? Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, bro. I couldn't fucking see, man.
Right.
What the fuck? That was horrible, bro. I done got distracted.
Hmm. Yeah, that happens to me too, Jay.
I
My
did.
God.
If it does that, just you have to quit the game and do it back. That's the sad thing, though. It's only on PC, but it does it on Xbox too, though. I want to say that's the PC side of things, the PC issues for sure. Yep, alt top for it. Yeah, that's the only way to do it, bro. That's the only way to do it. This game is making me lag on PC, bro. Like, what the hell? Like, I know you know what? Hold on. I did change my graphics settings because I think NVIDIA chose my settings. I don't want it to be so high. It is kind of high up there. Aspect ratio, sync every frame. Does not limit your frame rate with the monitor's refresh rate. Yeah, do that. Oh gosh, never get time to do anything. The match starts so fast. It doesn't even do like that ding, ding. Like, doesn't even do a countdown. It just starts. There's so much about this game that they can, like, just some of the things they took out, bring it back. Well, you know what? We'll try it like this for now.
Search and destroy. Jackpot on enemy assets. Grab the bomb or clear the AO. Bomb is in play. Protect the carrier.
Nobody's in this room. Good, 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 good. How's it running now, guys? Running pretty good? Hope we're not lagging or nothing. I don't know. I'm trying so hard, guys.
Planting the bomb. Secure the area. The bomb has been planted.
Wow, he's on top. Shoot. Everybody's crawling in this game mode. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no running around luck crap.
They're hurting. Let's send them home.
Boom! Boom! Alright, let me look at the settings here. See, man, I don't get time for nothing, bro. Tessellation,
Get to the bomb and move
texture
in.
resolution. This is all maxed out pretty much. Main thing I'm worried about, extra shadow map. Put on high.
Bomb is in play. Protect the carrier.
Hey, he's laying down right next to the fucking barricade wall. Right next to you.
It's all up to you now. The squad's counting on you. One round gone.
I wasn't even paying
Not dead
attention.
yet, are we, lads?
I had to
Search and destroy.
come on, options. What the hell?
Retrieve the bomb.
All this you want to keep off. Disable that depth of field crap. Jeez, I'm trying to do my settings, they won't let me. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Boom! Put your face on that wall. Eat that wall, boy.
Switching sides.
Lick your blood off that wall. All right.
Search and destroy. Assets identified. We need to keep them intact.
They are complaining about me, really? I have no idea what they're saying, bro.
Care package arriving on station. Enemy bomb at Alpha. Get over there.
Woo!
Don't let your guard down.
The accuracy laser beam.
Let's see what they're saying.
Search and destroy.
All right, here we go. Showtime.
I have no reason
I hate that I gotta wait 12, 10, 11 seconds, really.
because they're all framed outside and not anything else that would actually be helpful.
I jump on the trains and they're always
Good copy.
facing the
Nomad 2-2
the
on
way
approach
I'm
to
not
drop.
facing.
Or are they all the trains
Get
right
to
now?
Alpha. Enemy bomb planted.
There it is. Fucking hate it.
Wow.
Personal radar in the air.
No, why is he aiming like a bot? Like, look at him. Like, he's aiming like a robot. Oh, okay.
One round gone.
What do you
Not
mean
dead
it's a better
yet,
gun?
lads.
I only have so many.
Oh, it's because I'm messing with my settings.
1v3 with one magazine like that.
Yeah, where yours?
I think for the rest of the part, though, it should be fine.
For the kilo, right?
You ready, bro?
Asset locations confirmed.
My
Defending
God.
them is
Yeah, in a second. Right now, we're like 3 and 2 right now. Who, yeah, what?
Get to Alpha. Enemy bomb
Gotta ask
planted.
Sam to us, though.
Strike away.
Doesn't make the door any quieter. Just wait for this thing to clear up a little bit.
Bomb ready to strike. Nice one.
Making my
Yeah.
way.
Well, we might win this quick. We only got one more round.
Making my way.
Hey, how you can climb anything? Yeah, that kind of definitely changed.
Switching sides.
What gun is
That changes everything about the game.
M4, yeah,
Search
I
and
can barely
destroy.
tell. It looks like such a mess.
Target's ID. Get to the bomb and
All right, let's go.
wrong?
bomb is in play. Attack the weapon cache.
Just rush A.
Planting the bomb. Secure the area.
No, you can shoot through the fucking bomb.
Yeah. Where are they shooting at? Through the box.
They always do behind the cart.
It's down to you. Get it done.
So, god damn it, this dude, this guy. He's just gonna sit there the whole game.
Watch this. I'm gonna really tick them off.
Watch your kid. Although, knowing our luck, he'll clutch.
You know, this isn't Nazi Zombies. It hasn't been in these games for like 2 years.
Less than a minute.
2, 1, go. I guess he killed them. They're in there.
Have you ever seen a more intense camper than this? Why do you need that perk where you can see their footprints? We know you're not going to go after them, you dumb bitch. See? Pussy. You have to follow the footprints.
Losing ground.
Mm-hmm.
Did he kill him?
Yeah, that's...
Just for that, I'm gonna lose that one.
To destroy.
It looked unintentional. Like it happened by accident.
Target's ID. Get to the bomb and move in.
Yeah,
Bomb is in play. Protect the carrier.
I'm with you, brother.
I hate people like that.
Alright, there's a guy in the
This is why I mute these people, because they're just annoying. They don't speak anything useful.
They're planting the bomb. Watch your asses. Bomb planted. Start the clock. That's the one. On to the next.
There we go. One more. I can't change my loadout? Why? Alright, all this is off. I don't want none of that.
Search and destroy. Retrieve the bomb and hit those targets.
Yeah, he's
Bomb
right
is
in
in
that
play.
spot, bro.
Protect
You
the
got the right
carrier.
idea. That shit.
Ooh wee. Oh. So it's a 4v4 right now? Wow. Yeah, that happens sometimes. There's no actual perk for that, so I don't know how they're doing it. Kind of weird. Man, golden guns. Remember golden guns on Black Ops, like 1 and 2? Those were the good old days.
Search and destroy. No. Asset locations confirmed. Defending them is critical. Bomb planted on Alpha. Defuse it.
Ah,
We're losing ground. Let's take it back.
no. Oh, me. Wow, he got a double kill on that one. Well, I got 8 kills this round. I think I did pretty good.
Search and destroy.
Alright, let's hold it down, guys. I like this scope better. I think on the other class, I'm gonna remove the
Enemy cluster strike incoming. Take cover. Friendly airlift inbound. Get to Bravo. Get to Bravo.
wow, he's inside. Dang it. Oh, that's GG. Oh, okay. All right. I have to start playing hardcore again. People get lucky with these crosshairs. I want like hardcore, but without, or like regular without crosshairs. That's it. I'm happy. Yeah,
It's over. We're RTB. Move
I
out.
believe it. I believe it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I believe it. All right. All right. You still at the lobby, or you're in the game?
Mic off.
I don't think he's on anymore, guys. Oh, he's already in the game. I'll see if he joins. If not, oh well, that's good. Alright, so I got time for like probably one more, guys. See what's going on. I'm gonna have to look into this. What the heck is going on? Like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna stop overclocking my CPU because my motherboard is burning up. Like, I mean, it's on fire. It is hot in there. Yep, I'm about to put it back at its core speeds, but it only does it on certain games, especially games like these, I guess, where it requires more resources. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah. With this one, I'm just gonna change the scope really. So like maybe oh shoot, we're on search. We got the one right there with the one hit. Wow, I'm shocked.
1 minute remaining.
Still 4 people alive. Wow, look at that. Look at that. How you do it?
Maintain pressure.
Ooh, that was close. What's up, Black Pilot? How are you? There we go.
Search and destroy. Critical assets identified. Keep them secure.
Keep them secured. All right, let's go. Let's move it. I like this house right here. This one's actually pretty good. You got disconnected due to transmission error. Really? Wow. Why is it doing that? Why is it doing that? Oh, but seriously, why is it doing that? That's so weird. Wow! See, he could see me, but I couldn't see him. I'm done. Honestly, at this rate, okay, could take the forfeit. I really don't give a crap. What the hell? I can't figure out how you stand in front of a claymore without it going off, right? Well, remember they updated it. They tried to reduce it down a bit. So weird. Man, my PC, man. Oh my gosh. This shouldn't be stuttering this much. I think it's time for a new computer, guys. I might have to get rid of this one or keep it as a backup. The heck? Right. Very true. I'll take it. Right, right.
Yep.
Wow.
Mic on.
Yeah, there we go. All right, bro. Let's make this round count.
Make a deal.
But, oh, and it had to be this map. Well, this one's actually pretty good for one life mode, but we just can't die.
Yeah. there's a
Oh,
lot-
we're on this side, so this is good, bro. Let's go, let's go. Move it, move it.
I
you guys
see
at?
to your sniper.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, here we go.
Sniper attack.
Go, 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 go.
EMP location confirmed. Get moving.
Careful, because they be throwing things across the map in this mode. All right, bro. We're going to be able to make it here first. Nobody's going to be able to get here before we do.
EMP in play. Defend the center.
Make sure you close the door behind you. What the? He got me. You son of a biscuit, bro. Come on with the explosions. Wow. I just showed Jay lead the party again. We're all having issues. See, this is why I love that we can get revived. I forgot about that.
Back online. Move.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
Hostile
Oh,
at
yeah.
EMP. Defend
Don't
the
you got
data
your gun
center.
around here somewhere?
Yeah, I just grabbed it.
I was going to give you this one. I'm about to go revive.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead and get that guy that's over there.
Somebody's in here. Somebody's in here. Hold on.
Oh, he got me.
They've set the device. Disarm it.
Man, he got me with a headshot, though. I'll give him credit for that one. Careful, they're coming up, bro.
Back online. Move.
I know. They're all in here.
Come on!
Man, I
Forget
didn't
that
kill
round.
myself.
Yeah, we had no choice, but we had to get out of there. They planted. Couldn't do nothing, bro. These guys were getting so lucky, like... Hard scoping like a son of a gun.
Yeah,
Damn.
they was watching that window.
Yeah, like hardcore, bro. I couldn't even peek out.
Cyber attack.
Ah,
He's like, how many times I'm gonna kill the same guy?
eh.
Device location confirmed. Get moving.
Oh, wow. You heard that?
Yeah.
Hostile at the EMP. Defend the data center.
Damn. They're all down there coming for you, buddy.
EMP. Defuse it.
Good stuff.
EMP defused. Good.
Woo! That was close, bro.
Where that came from.
That was good.
That's crazy. What the heck?
I know.
My God.
Yeah, Lockplot, we're on the last match right now. We'll be getting back to it again soon, though. Just right now, I have to get going here in just a moment. Oh my god, it looks like we're lagging. Oh, it's getting full frame rate. I don't know why it's looking all weird.
Device location confirmed. Get moving.
All right, let's try this again, bro. We got this, man. Come on, come on.
That's the device. Protect the data center. Device in place.
What? Come on, red bus. Damn it. They only got one left.
Hostile EMP.
And he's way behind on his shots. Wrong way, dude. Hell you aiming at? What the hell was our teammate doing, bro? He's like a robot. Thanks, man.
I'm about to advise
Hey, he's downstairs. Careful. He's by the bus. I got him. He's by the van.
I got it. Damn, you got me. Damn. Watch it. Watch it right there.
What? Oh my god.
What? Shot it to the bottom. Damn.
Nah, I'm watching this kill cam, bro. Let me see that aim assist slide. Let me see. Oh, he got me. Supposedly he got me somehow. Okay, but it didn't look like that on my screen. Okay, he was aiming a little higher than that.
Shot it to the body. I messed that up though, because I could have just.
Yeah, I should have stayed back, bro. I shouldn't have gotten that close, but
Device location confirmed. Get
he was at the last dude, bro. One dude is all we needed.
Yeah, that's happening.
Yo, man.
Top the data center.
Yeah, they're by the red and blue bus. Careful.
Reviving them already? Okay. I see him, I see him.
Woo!
I was right next to him. I just see me sliding in.
Switch inside.
Wait, Jay, did you get in? Wait, what's happened? I'm confused right now. Wait, what?
Mic on.
All right, let's do it, bro. Let's make this one count. You ready? I'm not ready.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Get to that device.
Keeping my head poked out in the air, bro. Look, see, that's what I'm saying. They be attacking across the map.
Hostile has the EMP. Defend the data center. Friendly UAV overhead.
Wow.
Damn, I can't see. Damn, man, fucking shotgun. He's in there.
support station. Destroy the enemy data.
Got you 6.
Alright, no problem, no problem. Everybody's reviving each other right now. We gotta get back in the game.
Yeah. I'm planting the bomb.
Okay?
Set the device. Defend it.
I think we got it. They're going for revise. Why the hell you not? What the hell?
Bug it.
Taking the advantage. Make sure we
Hey, he's
keep it.
sniping straight across.
Mm.
Cyber attack.
Oh, poor Jay, man. Keeps getting kicked out. I don't know why. I gotta fix my moderator in AT. I'm just gonna reset my router, but I'm gonna do that when I'm offline.
Get the device.
But it's only this game I'm having that issue. Is everything else is fine. Oh, watch it. Boom.
Yeah, sniper straight across. Let's see what sniper this week.
Enemy cluster strike incoming. Take cover.
Ah.
Roger that.
Oh, he got me.
Cruise missile. Go.
Damn.
Both of you?
There's only one. He's down there. He's to your right. He's in the main.
I hear him. Hold on.
He's reviving the team now. You hear them below you?
Yeah.
What's he left?
Yeah, I see him. I see him. I see him.
Hey. He's coming up. Careful.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Damn.
Woo!
That's it, lads. On to the next round. Get ready.
He was peeking in that window, bro. I bet he saved your life. You can thank Betty, bro. Betty Crocker knows. Call of Duty.
Hear him, yo.
Two sides.
Hold on, he's at the window. Hold on, relax.
Cyber attack.
They be scared, bro. Right.
You know, I have Betty at the door. You know, somebody throwing, making it rain over here.
Right.
Device location confirmed. Get moving. Enemy personal radar in the air. EMP in play. Defend the data center.
Damn. Dude's dying already.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Oh shit! They went all the way behind us. Okay, there you go, Tricks.
Oh, come on. Our teammate did nothing, bro. Like, how do you not see? He was right next to our teammate. Wow.
Oh, he's back there the whole time.
Yeah, no, I knew there was one back there, but look, I was reviving you. Look at this guy. He's doing nothing. Like, he ran past him twice. Like, how do you not know where he's at? He must not be wearing headphones.
Probably.
Oh, that's annoying, bro. Like, who plays with TV audio nowadays? Like, come on. It's 2020 already. Get with the program. Get some goddamn headphones. Listen to the audio.
You should have got that though.
Right.
Get
It's
the
all good.
device. Let's go, team.
Yeah, or he's blind. Yeah, he could be blind. He must be blind, because I don't know how you missed that.
Enemy personal radar in the air. Hostile has the device. Data center.
Oh! Damn it, my team was in my way. Come on, dude.
Going all the way around.
Everybody be walking around on their ass cheeks, bro. Don't even. Wow.
On to the next.
I'm in the place. How the hell that?
Yeah, the explosion in this game is redundant. Like, it's dumb. Yeah, that's what I said. But the radius is dumb, bro. Even when you're indoors, sometimes you get killed. I don't know how that happened.
Cyber
Come on,
attack.
man. We got this shit back. Let's do this.
Tied up.
My back ain't cheating, bro.
And we're on our side, so this should help out. Should do us a favor.
Get the device. Let's go,
Get it
team.
done.
More than likely, they're gonna go for the other bomb, though. But yeah,
Enemy UAV overhead.
yeah, those nukes are annoying. They definitely buffed them.
Damn. Wow, my own teammate.
Look at this dude on his ass. He was waiting to hear my footsteps, bro. But I had dead silent on, so I ran around him.
Bro, my own teammate.
We have the EMP. Attack the enemy data
Watch his
center.
specs. He's right there. Good shit. Dang.
Woo! That was close.
Mission accomplished. Top
Man.
marks.
Those is an understatement.
Oh god, P90?
Sometimes no scope is better.
It is. No, it's always been like that in Call of Duty though. Sometimes hip fire is the way to go, bro. Especially from close range. Don't aim, bro. Just hip fire it.
That's what I'll be doing.
Right, it's the way to do it. I'm telling you, bro. I'd be like, a lot of my kills, it's just hip fires. This CPU spike crap is annoying. Alright, bro. I gotta head off for a second. Appreciate you getting on, man. We'll get on some more again soon, though. Don't worry. And don't forget, we still gotta do that Dead Island, bro. Like we told the whole stream, we about to get on there. And they thought me and Chaos was about to do some campaign, zombie action, killing, thrilling. But, you know.
Yeah, well, we can still do that once you get off of work.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see what's up, bro. If anything, I'll talk to you later, man. Thanks.
Alright, brother, man.
You too, bro.
Mic off.
All right, guys. So, yeah, that's it. We're gonna go ahead and do a nice little recap here and just head off because it's but again late. Why can't they have the normal FPS without some of the dumb perks? Yeah, I'm waiting for that Dead Island too. We'll do some this week for sure. I think we'll wait for the weekdays for that. So that way, I would love to play it on my phone, but I kind of figured, hey, let me just kind of play it like when we're all in the party chat chatting with each other. But right now, I need to figure out why my NAT here is on moderate, guys. Like, that is not cool, man. That is unacceptable. We can't be having that. The perks are dumb? Yeah. Well, the perks in this game really ain't as bad. See, the problem with perks, people were complaining about Dead Silent being a perk. So they removed it from being a perk and brought it in as a field ops. So that's also another complaint because you have your OGs or your original Call of Duty fans who always equipped Dead Silent as like a third perk or whatever slot it would be in. Most of the time, everybody wanted Ninja and Dead Silent. Those were the must-have perks. But like people just like right now, you saw how that guy was crouched down. Like he was waiting to hear my footsteps. Like that's exactly what he was doing. The footsteps in this game makes the game easy to play for everybody, and that's why they brought it back that way. But I don't know. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this up for now, and then we'll get back to some more gaming again soon. You guys already know. Now I know we've been streaming a lot more than what we should. Typically, it's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 6 to 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but You know, periodically I like to just casually just stream, just casually, just whatever, you know, get some story driven action going on, or play some games with you guys. You know, so it changes up sometimes. Yeah, well, I know ever since they've updated the claymores, I've been having a lot of that lately, where they could just run past it. It's like sometimes they changed the radius of the claymores now, so you need to make sure when you place it down, place it to where those red arrows will hit their legs, because if not, they'll run right past it, trust me. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. All right, well, I'm out of here. Jay, thank you everybody else, and yeah, we're gonna head out. I'll catch you guys later the next stream. See you guys. Adios.